Rina wished tá céad míle fáistre agus tá anás an bhuiise brilinn seo. Ag an nócaid táhachtach seo a mó gine ceile edimóireachta agus típlacht ildánach an cumarta seo gon múinte agus gona gaiisiúta sé an táhachtach seo. Come mar an méle leis me chéad choppa focará. I'm going to turn to English now for the benefit of having most people understand me. Mark asked me to come and say a few words because he said, you're from a farming background, Pádraic, you should be able to help out here. I mentioned to him that 26 acres, 2 roads and 4 perches doesn't really constitute a farm. For those young amongst you, divide by 2.5 and you get the hectares. We come from a small perch of land over on the edge of the coast in Connemara, and we are an area of scientific interest, and especially area of conservation and so on and so forth. And we're always fighting with the environmentalists to say, do you actually think these diversity of species and plants would have existed except for the traditional farming methods that we've been using for centuries in the land? So we've already had that row. So it's interesting that the environment has been imposed upon us from a distant capital rather than engaged with or negotiated at ground level, at farm gate level, at bog level, or whatever level you wanted. The reason I'm here is because Mark Boyden asked me to be here, and I must tell you a bit about him, to be honest with you. if I may. The first time the dirt is coming off now, the first time I heard of Mr. Boyden, somebody described to me as a man that fell in love with a river. And I said, oh God, that's great. It's like one of the Ashley, the great poets of Ireland, like, the Anna Livia or something. No, you fell in love with an actual river. Water coming down a hill, down into a sea, the Comola River. And I went down to see the Comola River, and it's mentioned in history often, and I've even Tom Barry crossed the Comola River to escape the Black and Tans in his day. So it's a river that stretches from the sea right up into the mountains of Kerry and Cork. And Mark fell in love with that river. He fell in love with every stone of it, every bush in it, every assa, every waterfall in it, every twist, every eddy, every turn. He fell in love with it. And not alone that, but he started talking to the fish. I want him to be with them and to commune with them. And that worked out really well. When he started singing to the birds, the whole deal went wrong because his voice didn't down. But he persuaded his neighbours to love that river too, to become part, to see that river as a good neighbour, as part of our lives, a flow through our lives. And when the gods are kind enough to take us off this earth, and the river will still be there. And the idea that the spirit of that river has lived for centuries in the old Celtic. We often dismiss the pagan religion of Ireland, but rivers were human, were persons in the Celtic tradition. A river was alive. It was something that could harm you, something that could help you, something that you could fight with, something that would fight against you. It was a personality, a real live thing. And in some ways, Mark, coming from a distant land, has come to this country and made us realise what our pagan ancestors were saying all along. The land is alive. We are just fleas on a dog's back. We're passing through this. The land will always be there. The river is alive. And it's great that Mark fell in love with that river and persuaded some more people to fall in love with rivers. And indeed, if we all fell in love with rivers, we would have a better world about us. So, I'd like now to ask the man who fell in love with the river to say a few words to you. Mark?
My first task is, I just want to say thank you to a number of people. First of all, Damian Phelan of IASTA, the Irish Agricultural Science Teachers Association. Damian and I put our heads together about 3 years ago and came up with this idea because, as Damian will tell you, the Ag Science curriculum is now over 40 years old. And it came about before the environment really featured on the radar. And we both saw this as a way that we could short circuit that, bring that into the studies. Mihalo Kaneda, Director of the EPA, couldn't be here today, but I want to thank the EPA for underwriting this project and assisting it to make it happen. I also want to welcome our guest of honour, Gordon Darcy, who he's taken time out to present the awards here today. Now, a huge thank you to the students and teachers who have participated and supported this event by submitting these carefully considered projects. And also teachers, I know you're under enormous pressure these days. There's just not enough hours in the day or the week or the year to do what you have to do. So taking on an extracurricular activity I know is very difficult. So fair play to you and fair play to the students you inspire. What comes through in all of the winners' submissions is the sense of their own locality, the pride in place, the pride in their being farmers, aware of their need to make a livelihood from their farms, but also the need to be conscious environmental stewards. To firstly ask, what is biodiversity? Where and how does it reside and thrive? And then to examine the potential of farming activities to impact, positively or negatively, upon species and habitats. In the future, I see farmers as stewards, as trustees of a wide biodiversity. And I see it first in the students who we celebrate today. So we need to think in new terms. Thank you.
Having met Mark 3 years ago, and being a farmer from the west of Ireland ourselves, from our own small farm in Sligo, and I could never see the dichotomy between farming and environment, because it's the one thing really. And use rather than abuse, I suppose, is the key thing. I could never see the hassle. And I couldn't believe my luck when I met up with Mark, and he was anxious to put basically his money where my mouth was, to be quite honest with you. I had all the ideas, but didn't have any way to kick this whole thing off. So Mark was a different person that I'm used to meeting. So in the area I work in education, and I do some work with AgriWare and the Farmers Journal, etc. It's there's a hard drive on agriculture. That's a hard push. And having met people over the years with IFA, and the more people I meet in agriculture, I find the circle gets smaller and smaller, as in we're all doing the same thing. I just happen to be involved in this whole educate area, which is a small part of the overall part of the whole thing. I couldn't believe my luck when I met with Mark, where we could actually get the idea of biodiversity and welfare for the land and for the water and for the animals, but mainly the water, because that's Mark's area, with a project for students in the classroom. And I can't emphasise enough how grateful we are as an organisation, I asked her, and that teachers will take the time and students will take the time out to get involved in this, because there are so many draws on your attention, on your pressure, from exams, principals, heads of this, various areas. And students also got loads of areas in which they can get involved in sport, business, farm, if they're involved in farming at home, and all sorts of areas. So it is great that teachers and students take the time out to get involved in this, because the whole idea is that if somebody has some information, learns something new, tries something new, and you can spread that information on something else. Farming, knowledge, everything is local. It's not anything but global. Everything is local. And coming here today, I got 2 shots of locality in my arm. One was Paul, who I didn't know Paul was going to be here today, and I went to school with Paul. And the teacher, Miss Brady, and so I used to call her Miss Brady, Deirdre, taught me ag science in Boyden, and one of the main reasons that I'm here. And again, thank everybody for coming here this evening, and for all the speakers, etc. I won't thank everybody again. So, thanks a million.
I'm delighted to be associated with this award ceremony, this award activity. It seems to me that we are moving on to a new plane with farming and education. Brendan Dunford has made a big difference there. He has coordinated all these different strands, brought them together, and it demonstrated a very simple thing to those people who used to go to the Burren as academics and thought of it as their domain. He presented the Burren to the local community and said, this place is your heritage. You made it what it is. And that very simple process of engaging the locals and giving them a sense of belonging has made a phenomenal difference to what's happening in the Burren. And this will grow and grow, just as the Burren Life Scheme is growing and growing. There's nearly 200 farmers involved in it in the Burren at the moment. So this is going to be the way forward. Young people have a vision of how things could be, how to better things. When it comes down to it, it's all about the elements. It's all about the rain. It's all about the land and the soil. It's all about enlightened self-interest, let's say, in terms of exploiting that and getting food from it. But it's also about emotional engagement. There's that other element to it that needs a voice as well. And nature can't speak for itself. It has to be spoken for. So I'll leave it at that.
Great.
Good.
I just want to say one thing first, and that is that apart from our 3 winners here this evening, there's also 3 honourable mention who I just want to give mention to. Now, they're not here tonight, but it's Sinead Rigney of Sacred Heart School in Tullamore. And then there's kind of a curious phenomenon here. I don't know what they're feeding them in Drumcolliher, County Limerick, but Eamon Shanahan and Sarah O'Flynn, whose teacher is Michelle Herbert in Drumcolliher. Drumcolliher has figured every year in this competition. They won it outright the first year. They contributed one of several winners last year, and there's 2 today now who have made honourable mention. So congratulations to them first and foremost. But then, just to start with our winners then, I'll ask Aisling Rock of Abbey Community College, Boyle, County Roscommon, and her teacher, Deirdre Brady Owens, to come forward, please.
I don't know when we should shake hands, but
Yeah,
well done,
that's
Ashley.
great.
I really enjoyed your presentation.
Yeah.
Manual was
We have 3 winners this year, equal winners. Our next winner is Nicole Conway of Holy Rosary College, Mount Bellew, County Galway, and teacher Michelle Wallace. Please come forward. I'll let Gordon give that to you.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll give that to you in that hand. She hasn't got enough hands.
The final winner is Emer Lynham of Clonaslee in County Laois, and teacher Sarah Delaney.
No, that was the other one. So this is about, trying to remember what yours is about.
The first one there.
Questionnaire.
Yeah.
Okay. Well done, anyway.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Alright.
That should be working. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you, Gordon.
That's it.
And so, again, congratulations to all the winners and the teachers and parents and families and the schools involved. It's fantastic work. It's just, you know, I feel very confident about the future. You know, if this is replicated up and down the country, that kind of thing, you know, is going to make sure that we're secure with food production, that we've got viable rural communities, but that we see a thriving wildlife as well. I'll just ask Pádraic to close proceedings then. Thank you very much.
I mean, I wish that it's going to meet him when you mag as a linen you've. I was telling us on the Portus no question. Thank you very, very much for with us this evening. Thanks to the Komodo Trust, and thank you very much to the Irish Agricultural Science Teacher Association. It doesn't roll off the tongue as easy as the Komodo Trust, but thank you very much. I must remark on the fact there's 3 girls that won these awards. What happened to the lads in farming? That's what I want to know. So I'm delighted that the future of it was all girls, in fact, teachers and all. It was all girls, in fact. I'm just wondering what's happened to Irish farming, but I'm sure that women have always played a very, very important role in Irish farming. I'm sure that Irish farming is safe for the future. So thank you very, very much. It's a great occasion. It's a great start. It's going well. Let's keep with it. Tell everybody you've been here. Tell everybody how well it went. Tell them what a good idea it was. And we'll see you again next year. Go to meet them, Maggie.